When a woman truly desires intimacy with you, one of the clearest signs is consistent, intentional presence. This is not about dramatic gestures or constant messaging. It is about steady effort. She reaches out. She responds in a timely way. She does not disappear for long stretches, only to return with excuses. Consistency reflects emotional clarity. When someone values connection, they reduce confusion rather than create it. You will not have to decode mixed signals or guess where you stand every day. Instead, her actions begin to form a pattern. She checks in, follows up on conversations, and remembers small details you shared. This repetition is not random, it is investment. Intimacy requires access, and access requires reliability. If she wants closeness, she will make sure there are regular touch points that keep the connection alive and growing rather than sporadic interactions that leave it unstable. Consistency also shows up in emotional availability. She does not only appear when it is convenient or when she needs validation. She shows up when you have something to say, when you are stressed, or when you simply want to share a quiet moment. There is balance. She initiates sometimes, and she responds thoughtfully when you initiate. This mutual rhythm builds trust because predictability creates safety. When someone's behavior is erratic, intimacy struggles to form. But when her presence feels grounded and steady, it sends a powerful message. You matter enough for her to be intentional. Over time, you begin to feel less anxious about whether she will reach out or respond. That reduction in uncertainty is not accidental. It is the result of her choosing to maintain connection consistently. It is important to understand that consistency is not perfection. She may have busy days, moments of stress, or times when life demands her attention. The difference is that she communicates. She does not leave you in silence wondering what changed. A simple message explaining her schedule still maintains the thread of connection. When intimacy is desired, she protects that thread. She does not allow unnecessary gaps to grow into emotional distance. Instead, she closes them with clarity. In this way, consistent presence becomes a quiet but powerful indicator of desire. It shows emotional maturity, intention, and genuine interest. When someone wants intimacy with you, they do not leave the connection to chance. They participate in it regularly, thoughtfully, and with purpose. When a woman wants true intimacy with you, she begins to open her inner world in gradual, meaningful ways. Emotional openness is not loud or dramatic, it is subtle and intentional. She moves beyond surface-level conversations about daily routines and begins sharing what she thinks about when she is alone, what worries her, what excites her, and what has shaped her. This kind of sharing is not casual. It involves trust. When someone reveals personal stories, especially those that carry emotion, they are taking a relational risk. She is observing how you handle that vulnerability. If you respond with patience and respect, she feels safer to go deeper. Intimacy grows when two people feel emotionally seen. Her willingness to share more than just facts about her life is a sign she wants to be understood, not just admired from a distance. Emotional openness also includes expressing feelings in real time. Instead of pretending everything is fine, she communicates when something made her happy, confused, or slightly hurt. This does not mean constant emotional intensity, it means authenticity. She allows you to see her reactions rather than hiding behind a guarded exterior. When she trusts you with her feelings, she is inviting you into a closer emotional space. That invitation matters. Many people can maintain polite pleasant interactions without ever revealing their true emotional landscape. But intimacy requires more than pleasant conversation. It requires honesty about internal experiences. When she shares those experiences with you, she is signaling that she sees potential for something deeper and more connected. You will also notice that she becomes curious about your emotional world as well. Openness is rarely one-sided when intimacy is desired. She asks how you feel about certain situations. She listens without immediately judging or dismissing. She may remember a fear you mentioned or a dream you described and bring it up later. This shows she is not only sharing herself, but also making space for you to share. Emotional intimacy is built through reciprocal vulnerability. It is not forced or rushed. It unfolds through consistent, respectful exchange. When a woman opens up and encourages you to do the same, she is actively building a foundation of trust. That foundation becomes the core of meaningful closeness. Without emotional openness, connection remains shallow. With it, intimacy has room to grow in a steady and grounded way. When a woman wants intimacy with you, her body language begins to reflect comfort and quiet desire for closeness. This is not about dramatic gestures or obvious displays. It is about subtle shifts. She positions herself a little closer when you are sitting together. She maintains eye contact just a moment longer than usual. Her posture relaxes in your presence. These behaviors often happen naturally when someone feels emotionally safe. Intimacy begins with comfort, and comfort is often communicated without words. If she feels uncertain or guarded, her body will create distance. But when she feels connected, that distance gradually decreases. You may notice that conversations feel warmer, pauses feel less awkward, and silence feels shared rather than tense. These small physical cues reveal emotional alignment long before anything is spoken directly. Physical proximity in this context is respectful and measured. She is not forcing contact or crossing boundaries. Instead, she allows natural, appropriate touches that fit the moment. A brief touch on your arm during a conversation, standing close enough that your shoulders nearly meet, or leaning in when you speak are all signals of comfort. These actions show she is testing the emotional space between you. She is sensing whether closeness is welcomed and reciprocated. If she pulls back quickly or seems tense, that suggests hesitation. But if she remains relaxed and continues engaging, it often indicates she feels secure. Intimacy grows in environments where both people feel at ease. Her willingness to reduce physical distance shows she associates you with safety rather than threat. You will also observe mirroring behaviors. When people feel connected, they often unconsciously mirror each other's gestures, tone, or rhythm of speech. If you lean forward and she does the same, if you lower your voice and she matches it, this alignment suggests comfort and rapport. These are not calculated moves. They are natural responses to connection. When a woman seeks intimacy, she becomes more attuned to your presence. Her body language softens rather than stiffens. Her expressions feel warmer. Even the way she smiles or laughs around you may feel slightly different, more genuine, and less performative. Physical closeness in this sense is not about intensity. It is about ease. When someone wants intimacy, they do not create rigid distance. They gradually close the space, allowing comfort, trust, and connection to grow in a steady and respectful way. When a woman wants real intimacy with you, she becomes genuinely curious about who you are beneath the surface. This curiosity is not interrogation, and it is not performative politeness. It is focused attention. She asks thoughtful questions about your experiences, your opinions, your past, and your goals. She does not just wait for her turn to speak. She listens carefully. When someone desires closeness, they want to understand the full picture of the person in front of them. You will notice that she circles back to things you mentioned days or even weeks ago. She remembers details that most people would forget. That memory is not accidental. It reflects emotional investment. Intimacy grows when a person feels seen and understood. Her curiosity signals that she is trying to see you clearly rather than simply enjoy your company at a surface level. This kind of attention also shows up in how she responds to your thoughts and ideas. Instead of dismissing your perspective or quickly shifting the conversation back to herself, she engages with what you say. She may ask follow-up questions, explore your reasoning, or gently challenge you in a respectful way. That engagement shows she values your mind, not just your presence. When someone wants intimacy, they want depth. They want to know how you process the world. They want to understand what motivates you and what shaped you. This level of interest creates emotional connection because it communicates respect. She is not interacting with a role or an image. She is interacting with you as an individual. Over time, her curiosity becomes consistent rather than occasional. She checks in about important events in your life. She asks how a meeting went or how you are feeling about a decision you mentioned. This follow-through strengthens the bond because it shows continuity. She is tracking your emotional journey. That kind of awareness builds trust. Intimacy requires the feeling that someone is paying attention not only in the moment, but across time. When a woman actively seeks to understand you and stays engaged in your story, she is doing more than being polite. She is building connection intentionally. Curiosity, when it is steady and sincere, is one of the clearest signs that she wants to move beyond casual interaction into something more meaningful and emotionally connected. When a woman truly wants intimacy with you, she does not ignore tension or pretend that misunderstandings do not exist. Instead, she protects the connection by addressing issues directly and calmly. This does not mean she creates drama over small things. It means she values the bond enough to maintain it. If something feels off, she brings it up in a measured way rather than allowing resentment to build in silence. Intimacy cannot grow in an environment where concerns are buried. When she chooses to communicate instead of withdraw, she is signaling that the relationship matters to her. She would rather have an uncomfortable but honest conversation than allow emotional distance to quietly expand. That willingness to engage shows emotional responsibility and investment. Protecting the connection also means she is mindful of how her words and actions affect you. If she realizes something she said came across harshly, she clarifies. If she senses you are distant, she asks rather than assumes. This kind of responsiveness reflects maturity. She is not focused on winning arguments or proving a point. She is focused on preserving closeness. When someone desires intimacy, they understand that conflict is inevitable, but disconnection is optional. Her approach to tension becomes collaborative instead of combative. She frames discussions around understanding rather than blame. That shift in tone makes a significant difference. It shows she is thinking about the long-term health of the bond, not just the short-term emotional reaction. You will also notice that she values resolution. She does not drag out disagreements unnecessarily or use silence as punishment. After discussing an issue, she seeks closure and emotional reconnection. This might look like softening her tone, expressing appreciation, or simply returning to normal conversation with warmth. Intimacy thrives when both people feel safe to express concerns without fear of abandonment or hostility. By working through small challenges instead of avoiding them, she strengthens trust. Her actions communicate that the connection is worth effort. When a woman actively protects the emotional space between you, she is demonstrating that she wants closeness to deepen rather than fracture. That commitment to repair and clarity is one of the strongest signs that intimacy is not accidental for her, but intentional and valued. When a woman wants intimacy with you, she begins to gently integrate you into her world. This does not happen in a dramatic or rushed way. It unfolds naturally. She may invite you to join her in everyday activities, introduce you to spaces that matter to her, or mention you in conversations with people she trusts. Inclusion is significant because it reflects comfort and intention. When someone keeps you completely separate from their life, the connection remains contained and limited. But when she starts weaving you into her routines, her stories, and her plans, it shows she sees you as more than temporary. Intimacy expands when two lives begin to overlap. Her willingness to let you step into her environment signals that she is not guarding the connection at arm's length. You may also notice subtle references to shared experiences becoming meaningful markers. She recalls moments the two of you have had together and speaks about them with warmth. She may say, "Remember when we talked about that?" Or, "We should go back there again." This language reflects continuity. It shows she views the connection as ongoing rather than fleeting. Intimacy requires the belief that there will be more moments ahead. When she begins to use language that includes both of you in future plans, even small ones, she is expressing emotional investment. It is not about grand commitments. It is about seeing you as part of her developing narrative. That shift from individual focus to shared experience is subtle but powerful. Integration also involves emotional alignment. She considers how her decisions might affect the connection. She may check your availability before making certain plans or express interest in aligning schedules. This demonstrates respect and shared priority. When intimacy is desired, people begin to coordinate rather than operate entirely independently. She is not losing her individuality, and she is not asking you to lose yours. Instead, she is building space where both identities can coexist. Over time, this blending creates familiarity and trust. When a woman includes you in her world and speaks as though you belong there, she is signaling that the connection is meaningful to her. Intimacy deepens when two lives begin to intertwine in steady, intentional ways rather than remain separate and undefined. When a woman wants intimacy with you, she becomes emotionally attuned to your inner world. This attunement is not dramatic or intrusive. It is subtle awareness. She notices changes in your tone, your energy, or your level of engagement. If you seem quieter than usual, she does not ignore it. She gently asks if everything is all right. This kind of attention reflects care. Intimacy requires more than shared activities. It requires emotional responsiveness. When she pays attention to how you feel, not just what you say, she is demonstrating that your internal experience matters to her. That level of sensitivity does not happen with casual interest. It develops when someone is invested in connection and wants to understand you beyond surface interaction. Emotional attunement also shows in how she responds when you express vulnerability. If you share a concern or frustration, she does not dismiss it or immediately shift focus back to herself. She listens. She may offer reassurance, perspective, or simply quiet support. The key element is presence. She stays with your emotion rather than trying to escape it. When someone desires intimacy, they do not only enjoy the pleasant parts of interaction, they remain steady during moments of stress or uncertainty. This steadiness builds trust because you begin to feel safe sharing more of yourself. Emotional safety is one of the foundations of deep connection. Her willingness to sit with your feelings communicates that she values closeness more than comfort alone. Over time, you will notice a rhythm forming. She anticipates certain pressures in your life and checks in around them. She remembers when something important is happening and reaches out. This consistency shows she is tracking your emotional journey. Attunement is about alignment. She adjusts her approach based on what you need in a moment. If you need space, she respects it. If you need encouragement, she offers it. This balance reflects maturity and genuine care. Intimacy grows when two people feel understood without having to over-explain themselves. When a woman consistently responds to your emotional state with empathy and steadiness, she is signaling that she wants a deeper bond. Emotional attunement transforms connection from casual interaction into meaningful partnership built on awareness and trust. When a woman wants intimacy with you, she begins to align her future thinking in subtle but meaningful ways. This does not mean she rushes into grand declarations or long-term promises. It means she naturally includes you in her forward-looking perspective. You may hear her reference upcoming events and assume you will be there. She might say, "We should try that next month," or "You would enjoy meeting them." This language reflects continuity. Intimacy requires the belief that there is a tomorrow together. When someone sees you as temporary, their language stays confined to the present moment. But when she starts weaving you into future scenarios, even small ones, she is expressing that she expects the connection to continue and deepen. Future alignment also shows up in shared goal discussions. She may ask about your plans and explore how they fit with hers. This is not an interrogation about commitment. It is curiosity about compatibility. When intimacy is desired, there is interest in whether two paths can move forward without constant friction. She pays attention to values, priorities, and direction. If she speaks about her own aspirations, she watches how you respond. She wants to see whether encouragement and support flow both ways. Intimacy grows stronger when both people feel their ambitions are respected rather than threatened. By bringing you into conversations about what lies ahead, she is signaling that your presence matters in the bigger picture of her life. You will also notice steadiness in her investment over time. She does not treat the connection as a fleeting experience driven only by mood. Instead, she shows up with consistency that suggests intention. When challenges arise, she does not immediately detach. She evaluates, communicates, and stays engaged. This stability reflects future orientation because she sees value in maintaining the bond rather than discarding it at the first difficulty. Intimacy requires resilience. It requires the willingness to nurture something that extends beyond the present moment. When a woman aligns her language, her planning, and her effort with a sense of shared direction, she is communicating that she wants depth, not distraction. That quiet integration of you into her evolving story is one of the clearest indicators that intimacy is both desired and intentional.